much talk about, last weekend down in Kearney. I know result-wise, you probably would like to see, a couple wins there, but nonetheless, I'm sure your team improved a little bit. And Jamestown next week, what are you working on?
Yeah, I think we improved a little bit this weekend, and I think all our starters had some pretty good matches. Problem is with our team right now, if we're going to beat anybody good, we've got to have all 9 of our guys wrestling well at the same time. It's tough to start out with that forfeit. You got to make up that win, but also those bonus points. And so we need to put together a full team effort, and I don't think we've really done that yet this season. So that's what we're kind of working on, is getting guys wrestling well at the big moments and when we really need them. So.
Who's your projected starter at 125?
It looks like we're going to be open there.
Okay.
We had one other guy, and he's going to be having nose surgery here at the end of the month now. Anthony Battle has a broken nose, so we're kind of down to nothing right now. So we're going to have to be making up for that 6 points now here the rest of the dual season.
How do you sustain that injury?
In practice. Yep.
Do you expect that slot to be full by the time we get back into the conference season? I mean, by the end of the year, because that 125's been open for you for a while now.
Yeah, it looks like that's going to be pretty permanent.
Okay.
We're going to be looking at making up those bonus points, and I don't think we're going to be able to get someone back in the lineup by then, by this season anyway.
Well, next up, Jamestown. How do you feel you match up with them?
You know what? I haven't looked at them too much. A lot more focused on our conference and kind of what we're doing with those things. But I feel like if we just like I said, if we can get everyone kind of competing well at the same time, I definitely feel good about that match. And St. Cloud comes to town next week too, so obviously a great test to get the defending national champions coming to town. And any win you get against a team like that is a big win individually. So that's kind of the approach you take to a team like that. Is you each have an opportunity to really put yourself into the mix here in the conference. Rankings and seedings and things.
St. Cloud's a team that probably a lot of teams in the Division II ranks look to as an example, as something that they'd like to build to, or a level they'd like to reach. I know that kind of thing would take some time, for Minot State to get to. But what steps do you think need to be taken to, at least get on that upward incline towards that level of a St. Cloud and some of these other top teams in the conference?
Yeah. So, first thing is, that's just a really well-run and well-coached program, and so I definitely, use them as a model. And actually, my brother wrestled there for a few years under those guys, so I kind of had, got to see, some of the things they were doing, and what they did was they really created a culture around their program. And they brought in I think they usually have around 50 on their roster, so they really bring in a ton of recruits, and I think that really allows them to stay healthy throughout the year and kind of rotate guys when it's sure nice to have multiple guys at each weight that can compete for you. And right now we're basically down to 1 here, so we're trying to make it through some of those things.
You cited weight management as an issue for the past couple of things. Is that just as simple as guys just not being, ready for the scale? Does that just come down to discipline, or what do you think is the reason for that? It seems to be recurring over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, we had a bad. I knew that was going to be one of our challenges when we sent the guys home for break, I just they weren't real disciplined about it over break, and I think we for the most part got it figured out. But there's a couple individuals who. There was one starter we had out this last weekend because he didn't make weight, so we had to do some bumping around up in at 165 and 174. So it still is continuing to hurt us, but it's down to a couple of guys now figuring it out and getting it all figured out before the end of the season and as soon as possible.
Yeah, and then you mentioned it's hard for you to put together your whole team. Earlier in the season, Mitch was really showing off, and Marcus had a great weekend. So I guess what's the reason why it's so tough? Is it numbers? Not that competition, I guess, or.
Yeah,
your eyes?
yeah. I mean, it's part of it is we've got a tough schedule, and there's been a lot of changes with the program. We're pretty young at some weights, and pretty inexperienced at some weights, and it's just a matter of these individuals getting to be a little more consistent. And you see guys like some of the guys you mentioned would be Marcus and Mitch, and those guys have been the guys who have been consistent for us lately, and it's those guys are setting the example in the room, and it's something that I feel like we can still work through, definitely, and just the guys just got to be ready to perform, and it kind of just comes with practice, and every time you go out and compete, you get a little bit better. So we're still optimistic, and looking forward to getting back on the mat. Even with this week off, kind of came at a good time for us as well. So.